On the approach to this roundabout, we have a section of road that's a different colour. It sort of looks like the pavement, but it's not the pavement. This is known as an overrun area. They can be placed around the roundabout. Also, you can get them on chicanes and islands designed to make the road more narrow. But what is the purpose in these overrun areas? Well, from the horse's mouth, the Department for Transport, they state, overrun areas are used to create the optical illusion that the usable carriageway is narrower than it actually is. These areas may be employed on bends to encourage car drivers to keep to a low speed but still allow sufficient room for larger vehicles to negotiate them. Similarly, these can be used at junctions, particularly roundabouts, to deflect traffic away from a straight ahead and faster path, where the overrunning area allows larger vehicles to negotiate the junction without problems. So essentially, an overrun area is a traffic calming measure. It's designed to encourage you to take a path which requires a slower speed. So to go around this overrun area, I need to go slow enough to steer around it. That slows me down. If I was to go straight across it, I could go much faster. So although driving on an overrun area isn't illegal in itself, you should still avoid them. They're there to deflect traffic into a slower pathway to reduce the speed of vehicles in that area. They're a traffic calming measure. On your driving test, if the examiner sees you drive on an overrun area, that in itself isn't necessarily a fail. But if they decide that your position is unsafe or misleading, or that you're driving too quickly for the situation, then you may fail. Or if the police see you driving very quickly straight across an overrun area, although driving on the overrun area isn't illegal, they may consider your driving careless or dangerous, which means you could get a fine, points on your license, or you could even end up in court. If you're driving a vehicle that's too large to go around the overrun area, then you should still try to go around it so that it reduces your speed. But of course, if your vehicle is too big, you may need to use some of the overrun area or even all of it. Avoiding this overrun area when I'm turning left at this mini roundabout means that I have a sharper left turn. That forces me to go slower so that I can make the turn easily. It's important though, before I make that turn, to check my left mirror, because there is quite a bit of space on my left where a bicycle or a moped could try to pass me. I'm now approaching a traffic calming measure, which is the chicane. It's like an island in the middle of the road with these curbs that stick out. And for me to avoid the chicane and avoid the overrun area, I need to go slowly. And of course, we've got the school crossing patrol person there, which is why that traffic calming measure is probably there to force traffic to go more slowly where kids are likely to be crossing the road. This area of road that has these white diagonal lines bordered by a single white broken line is not an overrun area. Overrun areas are there to encourage you not to drive over them. These white markings are here to tell you not to drive over them. The reason why they're here is because this mini roundabout used to have 2 lanes, but that was proving not to be safe. So they used these white markings to make it 1 lane. As the bordering line is broken, you can actually enter this area, but only if it's necessary and you can see it's safe to do so. If the bordering line was solid, then you must not enter the area except in an emergency. Likewise, the road markings you're about to see at this roundabout are not an overrun area. There are white diagonal lines bordered by a solid white line and highlighted in red. I must not enter this area except in an emergency. Here are some interesting facts about overrun areas. They should not be used where pedestrians are likely to cross the road, although at this overrun area there is a place for pedestrians to cross the road. And that's because they kind of look like the pavement, but they're not the pavement, they are part of the road. And as they look like the pavement, a pedestrian may be standing in the overrun area, so therefore in the road, checking to see if it's safe to cross. Also, most of them are less than 6 mil above the rest of the road. That's so a cyclist can cycle over it safely in case they are forced to by other traffic. And there are no signs for overrun areas, but they should be a contrasting colour to the rest of the road, and they should be used where there are street lamps so that you can see them at night. But that's should be, that doesn't mean they have to be. Well, I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're looking for car insurance, check out the links to Collingwood and Confused in the description. If you're learning to drive and want to insure yourself on somebody else's car, then Collingwood are there for you, because you can do so without affecting the owner's policy. And that takes away a big stress from the owner of that car. Via the link, there's up to 35% off and a £20 Amazon gift card at the moment. If you want to insure your own car, I recommend checking out the link to confused.com, because you fill out one quote form and get loads of quotes back from many insurers to compare who's cheapest. And you can change your car on that quote as many times as you like without having to do the whole quote again. So it's a quick and easy way to compare how much it costs to insure different cars. Using the links doesn't cost you anything, but it does support the channel, so thank you very much. Subscribe to get my future videos, and until the next one, cheerio.